Dancia, welcome back to our National Indigenous Virtual Tech Conference. We hope you enjoyed our virtual booths. Now we want to welcome Chief Clarence Louie to talk about creating a path to self-sufficiency.
Why ipis naksiluch? Hello, my relatives throughout Indigenous country. It's good to be here to present on Indigenous technology. But first of all, I want to thank the organizers, especially my cousin, Jennifer Wood, who puts on some of the best conferences in Res country. It's timely and so often that our people are now having meetings and conferences on technology. I've been chief of the Sioux Indian Band for over 35 years. I go back to the early 80s. And yeah, it does suck getting old. But when I first started, I never had a computer on my desk. When I first started, we never had cell phones. When I first started, we didn't really get involved in technology. And I love the subtitle of this conference, Digital Sovereignty. Digital sovereignty is so important to Indigenous people in today's world of doing business and nation building, our re-nation building. And so many of our people are getting rid of their colonial past. And as one of our national chiefs rightly said many years ago, a national chief from Manitoba, it's the economic horse that pulls the social cart. We have conferences on health and education, and it's so timely that in today's world that now we're having conferences on technology, because we all carry around that, what an elder called the black box. And we look at that thing 100 times a day, 7 days a week, just as I do. And when we get into our offices today, after we turn on the light switch, what's the other switch we turn on? It's that laptop or that computer that's sitting on your desk. Our communities need to be connected in order to do business nowadays, in order to do proper governance. Technology today affects even our health. I sit on the British Columbia Health Board, the PHSA committee, and I hear of these advances in health that are happening throughout the world. And it's coming to where, with the apps that are available nowadays, that if you want to check your diabetes or your heart or whatever it may be, you're going to be able to pick up your phone and press a few buttons. And so technology will affect First Nations health. Here at the Sioux Indian Band, where we have more band-owned businesses on our per capita basis than any First Nation in this country, we depend on technology in every one of our companies. Every one of our companies uses social media to market. Every one of our companies uses apps. And in the tourism sector, technology is very important. As many people, many travelers go online to do their bookings, whether it's at our golf course, whether it's at Spirit Ridge, at our resort, or whether it's to order wine through what I call Canada's best First Nation winery, Incomeep Cellars. So it's so awesome that Jennifer Wood and others are putting on conferences on Indigenous technology. Self-sufficiency in today's context, on or off the res, means we need to improve our capacity. And yes, we do need digital sovereignty. We need that as Indigenous people. A few weeks ago, I recently completed my 21st year of being on the National Indigenous Economic Development Board. And I chaired that board for 14 years. And one of the statistics that we were told at the national board level was that less than 1% of our people are employed in the technology field. The technology field is Canada's #1 thriving and improving industries. And yet here we sit as Indigenous people, being the youngest and fastest growing population in this country. And yet only around 1% of our people are employed in the technology field. As First Nation leaders, we need to make technology a priority in every one of our operations. It doesn't matter if you're in business or you're in health, you're in education. As Indigenous people and as leaders, we need to promote and encourage Canada's youngest and fastest growing population, the Native youth, to get involved in jobs, in careers, and get interested in technology. Here at the Sufficiency Band, like most First Nations, we now have full-time hired tech people. We never had that before. So it's so awesome to see First Nations people, Métis and Inuit, getting involved in technology. Because I support technology so much and I believe in it so much, I helped less than a year ago form a company called Indigenous Tech with Murray Rowe out of Ottawa. Indigenous Tech works with the best of the best: IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, BlackBerry, to name a few. The mandate of Indigenous Tech is to empower Indigenous youth by providing skills and training in the technology fields, which is the youngest and fastest growing industry in Canada. Indigenous Tech is a data and software development company that will leverage relationships with technology suppliers to successfully implement strategies for Indigenous skills, training, and the creation of our own source revenue. My company, Indigenous Tech, is currently doing contracts with Northern Supply Chain operations up in the far north. We're analyzing how to bring better services, better food and health to people in the far north. We're working with the Yellowknife Dene First Nation. We're also doing a project with CMHC on an Indigenous housing research project so that CMHC will be better informed to develop Indigenous financing solutions for housing on and off the reserve, to build better policy frameworks and funding models. Indigenous technology is also active in doing what we're doing right here. We put on conferences to showcase what is happening in the technology field. We have worked with Microsoft in the Mohawk Res of Ganawaki to get the youth involved with the latest Microsoft technology. As I have said, Indigenous people are underrepresented in the technology field, yet it's Canada's most productive and growing industry. I believe in youth employment here at the Sufficiency Band. Here we love creating meaningful summer jobs, as the youth are the future leaders of our res here. I want my youth working in serious summer jobs where they learn lifelong skills. We have our youth involved in every one of our companies during the summer. We just don't have our youth doing menial work. In Indigenous leadership, We must connect the dots and do whatever is necessary to provide technology opportunities for our youth. This summer, my company, Indigenous Tech, will organize an 8-week internship program, which will be online. And we partnered with one of the biggest companies here in the province, BC Hydro. I look forward to a number of Osuyus Indian Band youth getting paid to work and to learn technology that will deliver relevant skills through education, inspirational stories, mentorship, with the best of the best in the technology field. Fact is, digital sovereignty and economic self-sufficiency do go hand in hand. On Osuyus Res, every one of our companies depend on technology. And as we grow here at Osuyus, many First Nations people, Métis people, and Inuit learn. We have to share our stories as Indigenous people. We were the first entrepreneurs of this land. Archaeological evidence proves that our trade routes extended thousands and thousands of miles, north, south, east, or west. And we have to use the modern means and modern ways of engaging in business. A few weeks ago, I was so proud to look at my computer, and we did a Zoom program with our language house. We have a language house here in Osuyus, where our Okanagan teacher teaches a handful of our youth on how to speak Okanagan, how to speak in Selection. And it was so awesome to sit and watch our students and how they can put sentence after sentence together and tell a story in our language. So even in our language programs, we are using technology. Our language teacher goes on the internet and learns from what other First Nations people are doing in language protection and revitalization. We do need the internet to save our languages and to help our students. Not being connected, any community in today's world needs to be connected to the internet. Not being connected, your youth will fall behind in education. Not being connected, your people will suffer more health problems. And our communities need to force government. Yes, boiled water advisories are important. No Native community should be on boiled water advisories. But no Native community should also be not connected. So many of our communities, just like Osuyus, we depend on being connected. We need more Indigenous technology leaders for our youth to look up to. We need to showcase Indigenous success in technology. And we need to get all our communities connected. We need to bring that to the federal and provincial governments of how important that is. True reconciliation also means economic reconciliation. Reconciliation in today's terms means that no Native community should not be connected. We need that fiber. Our people's health and education depends on it. And when we're able to travel again, I hope to see many of you on the Indigenous Business Trail. We have shown so many success stories to share, and in the traditional way of learning, as the elders have said, we are a visual people. We are an oral society. We need to see and to hear and to share our stories. And that's why I love conferences like this, and I love the title of this conference. And Jennifer Wood, you hit it out of the park. And we need more conferences on technology, because our people, Canada's youngest and fastest growing population, it will be the Indigenous sector that will provide 10, 20 years in the future. It will provide the employees and the managers. I'm going to love it when I see our people involved at the highest levels in technology, in being involved with the Microsofts of the world, the Blackberries of the world, the IBMs of the world. That's the type of stuff we need. And I look forward to meeting many of you, hopefully when this COVID pandemic is, and we can get back on planes, we can host conferences. I hope many of you come to a CU Senior Band and see what we're doing here, is we need to go to school on each other. It's so important as Indigenous people to go to school on each other and the successes that many of our people are having in technology, and that we are underrepresented in technology. And we need to support those Indigenous tech companies and to encourage our people to be involved in this such emerging and so much needed industry. So Limlimt in my language, which means thank you. White, which means goodbye. And I just love it when I hear there's conferences like this. So to all the organizers, thank you for doing this, and to all the speakers and all the participants. We all know we shut off our cell phones probably after we turn off the light. And when we wake up in the morning, the first thing we do is we press that button. Our people need to be connected every day and every minute of the year. So the best of luck to the Indigenous technology family, and let's share our stories and let's get together soon again. Limlimt, thank you. Come to Osuyus soon as you can. Limlimt.